So Haridino has been trended for some time now across the various social media platforms. But let me ask you, who is Haridino? Okay, so Haridino is actually a defender, a 32-year-old defender who plays for Manchester United Football Club in the English Premier League. And guess who Haridino is? It's actually Harry Maguire. But why is everyone calling him Haridino? Okay, so Manchester United defeated Athletic Bilbao by 3-0 at St. Mamés in the first leg of the semi-final in the Europa League. Now, Manchester United have actually got a foot in the finals of the competition, and you compare their form in Europe to that of the league domestically, and it's nothing to write home about. But then, in that 3-0 win for Manchester United over Athletic Bilbao, something interesting happened. And why is everyone calling him Haridino instead of Harry Maguire? So, Harry Maguire had a huge impact, in the very first goal Manchester United scored in that game against Bilbao. So, funny enough and interestingly, Maguire found himself, at the right-hand side of attack for Manchester United in the 29th minute when, the build-up to that United first goal occurred. So, it was something interesting and no one saw how it happened. But then there's the same guy who was deployed as a makeshift number 9 in Manchester United's, quarter-final second leg game in extra time against Lyon, and he popped up with the winner. So I do not know, but perhaps that performance against Lyon might have just given him that confidence to bump forward and produce a moment of magic for Manchester United, in their game against Bilbao. So at some point, Garnacho found Maguire, who was at the right-hand side of attack. And you would think if you're a United fan, you've seen Maguire, so many times in attacking positions, lose the ball, so cheaply. And it was so common as far as Manchester United is concerned. But Harry Maguire actually did something, so interesting, so miraculously that no one had ever seen anything like that from Harry Maguire. So Harry Maguire with the ball, decided to just, do some flex, drag the ball backwards a bit, some shimmy in there, some chops, a bit of chops, and then, he had to push the ball once, twice, then the cross, which was met by Manuel Ugarte, the Manchester United midfielder, who also flicked it on for Casemiro, who was at the far post to head at that ball into the net to give United a 1-0 lead. So it was all about Harry Maguire starting, that move, creating something out of nothing to create a goal for Manchester United. But it didn't end here, because after the game, fans took onto social media to name him or give him all sorts of names. Some were calling him Harry Lamine Yamal Maguire. Some were also calling him, Haridino. Others were also calling him Harry Messi. Quite a lot of names. But then it was his coach who also, his coach was actually full of praise for Harry Maguire for how he was able to meander his way, cross that ball into the box with Manuel Ugarte getting the touch before Casemiro also nodded home the header. Bruno Fernandes was also quite, surprised about what happened. But then he said, Harry Maguire is quite a confident guy. He does things no one expects him to do. Sometimes it actually lands him in trouble. But this time round, it actually gave United that lead they deserved. They went on to win by 3-0. Bruno Fernandes scoring 2 more goals for them. But for the moment, it's actually Haridino that's trended. No other name is actually trending or has been trending on social media for the last couple of hours. It's been Harry Maguire's name trending, and United fans are just in awe of what he did in that game against Athletic Bilbao. Now, let me quote what Phil Jones said after the game. He said, "I didn't know he had that in him, to be honest. I never saw it in training, but fair play, great ball in." So that's what he had to say. Not just him, but then Harry Maguire's boss, Ruben Amorim, also went on to say, sometimes there are moments in our life, and Harry has had difficult moments. He also went on to say, everything he does is good for the team, so we have to enjoy. But it didn't end there. Maguire himself, had quite some words to share about the goal he scored, the assist or the pre-assist he had in that game against Athletic Bilbao. So when being spoken to after the game, that's what he had to say. He said, "I found myself attacking the back post. I think Garnacho passed me the ball. It was nice to do a bit of dribbling and put in a great cross." Then he also went on to say, "We had a lot of bodies in the box and they must have trusted me to put in the cross. It was a nice feeling and it was a great header header in the end. So that's Harry Maguire, who's been tagged Haridino after his wonderful and Ronaldinho-esque exploit in that game against Athletic Bilbao. So thanks to Maguire, United were able to march on to a 3-0 win, which means that they only need at least a draw from their game against Bilbao in the second leg to make it to the grand finale.